Righto, we're going to talk about the hotness, the strike squads, the men that do the damage. These are the guys, the boys themselves, the strike squad. Stick around. Strike Squad. These guys have just become the most ultimate popular unit in the Grey Knights book, and for all good reason. They are pretty good. I'll run through the stats. They have a movement of 6 because they're not Terminator armor. They do get to move 6 like normal Space Marines. They have weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+. They have toughness and strength 4. They have 2 wounds because they have now got the Astartes treatment, which they so deserved. They have a tax of 3 for the regular Grey Knight, and the Justicar has 4 attacks. The leadership is 7 for the regular Grey Knight and 8 for a Justicar, and their save is 3+. So the 2 big changes they had from the old book is that they got the extra wound, but they now have 3 attacks base and 4 attacks on the Justicar. That is really good. Like before, they used to have 1 attack. Okay, Justicar had 2. They brought in a rule partway through 8th edition where they could suddenly get an extra attack on the charge. So you got 2 attacks on your strike, you got 3 attacks on your Justicar. Even with that, it just didn't feel like it was punching enough, okay? So they lost their attack on the charge, but now they've just got a flat 3 attacks, and then the Justicar has 4 attacks, okay? That has buffed them up substantially, because the big difference is if you go into an ongoing combat, so you go into combat, you attack, you get hit back the next turn, instead of losing that attack in that next round, you've just got 3 attacks the whole time. You're just going to cut things up, okay? So their weapons are Stormbolter, Nemesis Force Sword, Frag and Crack Grenades. Alright, now their special rules are Knights of Titan, Combat Squads and Teleport Strike. So you can take a squad of 10, break them into 2 units if you want, and they do have some options. For every 5 models in a unit, 1 Grey Knight Stormbolter and Nemesis Force Sword can be placed with 1 weapon from the special weapons list. Like the Terminators, they don't benefit from moving and shooting silencers or psi cannons. There is a stratagem that you can use. When you enter play from reserve, you can drop a CP on them and then they get the +1 to hit. That is actually best on the Stormbolters, I think. Funny enough, hitting on a 2+ Stormbolters is just gonna mow down light horde. But it does give you the option at least to hit at normal ballistic skill. The other thing I do like on them is the Incinerators. They've become my favourite special weapon, I think, now. I may change my mind later, but D6 auto hits is pretty good. But just regular bolters is decent, alright? You're going to be able to deal damage with other bits and pieces in the army in various ways. What I do like with special weapons, so the sword is really good. +1 strength, there's a lot of toughness 4 stuff around. So you'll be winning that on a 3, and there is also a lot of toughness 5 stuff around, so you're going to be winning that on 4s. The extra AP of 3 it's the best AP from any of the close combat weapons. It's going to chew up Space Marines. You know, Space Marines are 3+ save. You charge in there, they have a 6 to save. The Halberd is another one I quite like. Being strength 6, it does make a difference against all of that toughness 3 stuff that's going around, okay? So you got Drukhari, they got their Camelot Warriors, which is toughness 3, the Witches are toughness 3. You've got Guardsmen, you've got Grots now, if anyone wants to run Grots. The other thing is strength 6 against Space Marines. It's still going to wound them on 3s, just like the what's it called, the sword did, okay? But you come against a lot of those toughness 5 units, you're suddenly wounding on 3s. Now, a lot of people I've seen arguing the point that they get Hammerhand, and what Hammerhand does is you cast Hammerhand and you can reroll your wounds. The thing is, you're not always going to get that off. and it's going to piss you off because the time you need it on there, it's not going to be there. And also, I don't necessarily want to always be casting Hammer Hand. I want the options to go, alright, I want to do some smites this turn, I want to do my Brotherhood power this turn, I want to do something else other than Hammer Hand. That way, hitting and wounding on a 3 with my halberd isn't too bad. The other option that I don't mind, I still quite like the falchions. The extra attack that they get is pretty good. Now they're also AP neg 2, and the difference is they're only damage 1. That's the downside. If you are going to come up against Space Marines though, you've got the option of Edict Imperator, but that's one of those powers which is going to be in hot demand, and realistically you're going to need to try and cast 3 of them for it to be beneficial, but you can only cast 1 per turn, so you need to pick your targets wisely. But falchions, they do have their place as well. Now there is a Brotherhood that really does benefit these guys. I do like the Prescient Brethren actually. That's not the Brotherhood I was talking about, it's the Rapiers. So their stratagem of deadly efficacy. It gives you, on a hit roll of 6, you get 1 additional hit. So their psychic power is also +1 to the attack's characteristic if they pass. It's a warp charge value of 6. So on the turn that you want to get them in, you'll cast the +1 attack. You'll then send the CP to then cast Hammer Hand for reroll wounds. You'll be in Tide of I can't even, the home mental blank, the one that does mortal wounds in combat. And you'll then also drop the stratagem on them to get the extra 6s to hit. Alright, so what you're trying to do with that is explode as many hits as possible from the extra attacks and the doubling ups on the 6s to hit, and that'll maximize then your ability to roll 6s to wound with the falchions. So each dude's having 4 attacks and the main leader's having 5, and then for every 6 you're going to do a mortal wound. If you wanted to have Edict Imperator on the unit you're attacking as well, so anything that isn't a mortal wound becomes damage 2, go for it. But yes, you're going to just pump out mortals like crazy from that particular unit, and basically the Rapiers are supposed to be the elitist of the elite when it comes to like combat and things. They're supposed to be like special forces type dudes. So on a strike squad doing that, then that's maximum efficiency for that turn. Yes, absolutely. But Prescient Brethren, I do quite like the fact that their stratagem is reroll 1s to hit and wound. It means that I'm not going to be relying on having my captain or Grand Master nearby or Drago. They can operate independently. It's also good for some of those shooting units. Now I'd probably take a Perganation Squad over the Strike Squad if I was going to be trying to shoot things. That way I can have more of the heavy weapons in one unit. That way if I need to drop that stratagem like I mentioned before on them for the +1 to hit, I can. But we'll talk about that in Perganation Squads. Strike Squads, yes. And they come with the teleport strike built in, so if you just honestly want a cheap scoring unit, there's another option in here that I think is better, but when it comes to getting a unit into a position, these guys are the most points efficient to do that. So you can just drop them in on the objective, bang, there's your points. So there, that's the Strike Squads. I will likely be running them in every single game. At least 2 units probably, and maybe a Terminators or 3 strikes or something like that. So yeah, they're going to be a mainstay. You'll see them a lot. So if you don't play Grey Knights, learn how to deal with them, because they're coming for you. Alrighty, until next time, keep being awesome.